We have to start the top of the show with a valet to one of the best to ever do it. Jim Simons died last week as we record, aged 86. And for people who are unfamiliar with Jim Simons, he founded Renaissance Technologies. Renaissance Technologies?
Renaissance?
I've only ever read it, to be honest. And Warren Buffett, I think, goes down as history's greatest investor for the amount of money created for people that invested with him. Jim Simons would be second, probably, in terms of amount of wealth created. But in terms of annual returns, it's Simons, then Daylight.
Yeah, he has absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
So his main fund is the Medallion Fund. It's returned a whopping 66.1% per year for 30 years.
Yes, yeah.
From 1988 to 2018. To put that into perspective, Buffett is lauded with, roughly just over 20% per year.
Yeah.
Mind you, that's been over a bit longer than 30 years.
Yeah, since 1965.
Yeah,
so 60
call
years.
it 60
Yeah.
years. So double the length, which is still outstanding. But the Medallion Fund, 66% for 30 years.
Yeah, he created about $100 billion in wealth is sort of the number. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, the Medallion Fund was only open to employees and people, friends of the fund. But it was an incredible performer, 66.1% before fees, 39% after fees. So they took a big whack of fees, but when you're delivering that level of performance, you can do that. But the thing that Simons is known for is he's known as the man that solved the market. There's a good book on him. But he started the quant revolution.
Yes.
And what we mean by quant revolution is using high computing power, using algorithmic trading to try and identify sort of correlations or mispricing opportunities, or where the market's going to go, or where a particular stock or commodity is going to go, and then basically setting up the trading parameters with your computer and then going. Now, according to an estimate from the New York Times, 1/3 of Wall Street trading operations are now quant.
Wow.
And so he really sparked a movement that has transformed Wall Street, transformed the investing landscape.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he was a mathematician, which has led to this. Which led to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good on him.
So the final takeaway from Jim Simons' life, it's never too late for your second act.
Okay.
So as you said, he was a mathematician. He got his PhD in maths from UC Berkeley at 23 years old. And then for 17 years, he was an academic. He was a maths professor. For about 10 years, he was the chair of mathematics at Stony Brook University in New York. And then at aged 40, he decided he wanted to see if he could make some money. And he started Renaissance. And it was about 5 or 10 years later that he opened the Medallion Fund.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you're too late in this game, if you feel like that you've missed your opportunity, take a leaf from Jim Simons' book. It's never too late for your second
We
act.
can all generate $100 billion plus in capital.
In 30 years.
Yes. No, it's an amazing story. Highly recommend doing a bit of Wikipediaing or reading the book that he's written, because it is incredible what he's been able to achieve and the contribution he made to Wall Street. So sad to see him go. Big year of losses in the investment world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Bryce, last week we spoke about some of the stocks we wished we bought in 2022, some of the tech stocks, really well-known companies that we all use that fell a lot and then have rebounded.
Yeah.
Spotify, Shopify,
Yeah.
Snap. You wanted to then do a reply, I guess. You wanted to say...
This is like the rap feud between Drake
Between
and
who?
Kendrick.
Nice.
I know.
You wanted to do the stocks that haven't recovered.
Yeah, well, it made me think that we lived through that period during COVID where stocks just went crazy, and there were a number in there, well-known companies that we all use that I'm sure a lot of us thought about getting on, and it was a moment where people were saying the world's changed forever, working from home, we're never going to use the same
Yeah.
tools and software and resources in the same way.
Yeah, e-commerce has changed behavior. Like,
Yeah, change
bricks and mortar are
behavior.
dead.
Business flights are done.
Yeah.
Travel gone. Yeah. So that led to investing behavior, and some stocks really ran. And so I thought it would be a good response to look at some of the companies that were the biggest winners of 2020 that have subsequently not recovered.
Okay.
And
much like Kendrick, I'm going to reply to some of yours.
sure. So just to put it into context, there was a Financial Times article that said $1.5 trillion has been wiped from the market cap of the top 50 tech stocks that ran up during COVID. And I've got some of them here because they've subsequently just absolutely bombed. And so I think one of the key takeaways here is the lockdown trends that we thought were going to last forever have not. But Ren, here are some of the 7 biggest winners of 2020 that have fallen away. So these numbers are the percentage increase in stock price during that 2020. Should note that some of them ran a lot further into 2021.
2021 was a bigger year for a lot of these companies.
Yeah, it was just inconsistent for some, but you can guarantee that all of these ran in 2020.
Okay.
And then subsequently, we'll look at the percentage change since the end of 2020.
Yeah.
So Tesla. Mind you, Tesla was a company that probably had more than just the COVID.
Is this a caveat 7?
No. Well, okay. Because Tesla wasn't really a COVID stock for COVID reasons.
Then why did you put it first?
Because it ran hard. So it ran 787% in 2020. It's down 42% since the end of 2020.
Yeah, I was surprised you put this one first because Tesla entered 2020 at $30 a share and is now $170 a share.
Yeah.
So it didn't fall, like it's recovered.
Well, sorry, it hasn't. A lot of these, it's recovered, but it's well down from its.
Yeah, it got to $400.
Yeah, it's down from its euphoric heights.
Yes.
But it wasn't really a COVID stock. It was in 2020. It delivered 500,000 cars, launched the Model Y, and there were sort of business reasons for the run up. Zoom, though, the working from home, meetings changed forever. It ran 765%. It's down 80% since then, wiping $77 billion in market cap. Moderna, the vaccine provider, it ran hard, 453%. However, 453% in 2020. Into 2021, it ended up actually running 2,200%. So it went nuts. It's down 73%.
And now the vaccine makers have stopped making the vaccines. I think AstraZeneca has come out and said we're not going to make the COVID vaccine anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I think they're just like, there's so much out there.
Oh,
like,
okay.
it's just, it's like, we're done.
Okay.
So it's really come off.
That's gone.
Yeah.
That happened quickly.
Well, yeah,
4
COVID happened
years.
quickly.
So does that mean anyway, that's going to go down a rabbit hole, but we don't need to keep getting...
No, I think there are still, they're just saying like...
quantity.
I think they're saying like Moderna and Pfizer, like everyone's doing it.
Gotcha. So they're down 73%. Peloton, the thesis here was we're going to be exercising indoors digitally forever.
We're not going back to the gym.
Gyms are done. It ran 395%. It's down 97.35%. It's now $4.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh my God. Etsy, get this. 10% of revenue during 2020 and 2021 for Etsy came from selling face masks.
Yeah.
10% of revenue. So it ran 290%. It's down 78%, e-commerce, all of that sort of stuff.
Feels like that one probably has a second, like another act in it. Like that whole like long tail of
I'm sure all of these companies hope they have another act in it.
Yeah. I mean, Peloton.
Peloton.
I mean, apparently the bikes are good.
They are. I've tried one. Okay. They're not bad, but yeah. Twilio up 253%. It's down 83%.
Yeah,
and
that one's weird. Like that's weird, that's like a core part of a lot of companies' tech stacks these days. Twilio, for people who are unfamiliar, is if you're ever getting like text notifications from companies or even a lot of push notifications from companies, chances are it's powered by Twilio.
Yeah.
There's no reason that was specifically COVID.
Yeah. It's weird. Anyway, it hasn't recovered. And then similar to Zoom, but a lot of businesses were in that sort of business collaboration. So you think, Atlassian and whatnot. There's a company called Ring Central, when researching this, constantly popped up. it ran 162%, not as hard as some of the others, but it's down 92% since the end of COVID. So, look, 7 companies that at the time everyone was quite euphoric about and really jumping on the lockdown COVID trend. Those trends haven't played out and these companies haven't recovered.
So what's the takeaway here?
The takeaway, I think everyone overestimated and completely just became a little bit blind to how COVID was going to affect the way we live.
Yeah, because like I would say that if you marry the two segments up, like the well-known companies that we wish we bought in 2022, and then this, like there's a lot of overlap because the same conversation that was happening with Zoom and Peloton was happening with Shopify, but where Zoom and Peloton haven't come back, Shopify has. And so I guess the takeaway is like at the end of the day, business quality matters more than what's happening. Even if it's like a once in a generation thing like COVID, it's like Shopify, not to say Zoom and Peloton aren't good businesses and good tech. It's just like the business fundamentals, like what problem are you solving? How much value are you creating and how much value can you extract from that is better with Shopify than it is with Zoom and Peloton.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah.